Hello. Good evening. Good late evening to the late crew. Still filing in. Slowly but surely, people are making their way into the show. What monologues do I practice in front of the mirror? Everything that I say. Everything that I say on tonight's show, I practiced at least 10 times in the mirror. That you can guarantee. Groaning into the mic. Dude, I can do some more of it if you want. I can groan into the mic some more if you liked it that much. Naughty Priest, thank you. And the answer is no, the world has not yet ended. Oh, yeah? Cool. Cool. Oh, it's Peter. It's your birthday today, Peter? Jesus Christ, man. Happy birthday. Born on the 4th of July? Look at you. I should have guessed. Peter's the best. Peter deserves at least 100 more birthdays before Peter croaks. He's earned 100 more. Oh, July 3rd. So, yeah, technically got it. So it's your birth. Got it. Close enough. July 3rd is basically July 4th. What is it? Like, are you reading a little book to a kid, trying to put him to sleep? Good night, Paul. Good night, stream. Good night, cow. Good night, dream. It's like I love airport posters. They got to announce their arrivals and departures. There's only really one person who announces their arrival that doesn't bother me. And that's oh man, what's his fucking name? It's always like, relax, everybody, I'm here. Anyway, I'll know him when I see him. I don't think of Razor Fist. Asking me like what I think about certain like personalities and shit. Yeah, Mendacious C. Thank you. That's the guy. Yeah, asking what I think about certain personalities is usually going to get you exactly that answer. I'm not one of these people that's driven by personality conflict, so I don't think about Razor. I haven't thought about Razor Fist until you mentioned him for months and months and months. And now that you've mentioned him, I won't think about him for another few months until somebody brings him up again. I just am not that type of guy. I'm not that type of guy that's like traveling around the internet looking for people to disagree with. You know what I mean? I bump into some sometimes, and it happens, but I'm just never going to be that guy. Never going to be that guy. What do you think about Paul right now? I don't know, man. I don't know what to think about that, Paul. My hair's looking luscious. Thank you. Paul, John Bonham versus Keith Moon, your pick. I really don't care, but I like Keith Moon's name better. So, although John Bonham does have a cool name too. This is tougher than I thought it was going to be. I don't know. Is it still the current year? Yes. So, I guess I wanted to talk to you guys about a little something today. I don't know that I don't know that we're going to get, a mass amount of people in here tonight. It being late and whatnot, I might want to wait for a few more minutes before I start because I can still see that, our view numbers are jumping up. It takes a while for people to filter in here. It's like YouTube waits 4 or 5 minutes sometimes to send out notifications that we're streaming. Maybe I should have like a way longer intro segment. I should play like 3 or 4 songs or something. And then, have like a 20-minute waiting period before or maybe I should schedule the streams out. I don't know. There's probably a way to do it better than I do it and get more people in. Yeah. Happy birthday to you, Peter. Hair is real long, but looks good, though. You should grow your hair out, too, bro. You'd look dope as fuck. Be like twinsies. Be like twins, bro. Like the movie Twins with Schwarzenegger and DeVito. When I see your notification, I make sure to get high first. Oh, well, that explains it, too. I'm sure that a lot of people are on that boat as well. Speaking of which, let's wait for a few more folks to wander themselves in, and then we'll talk a little bit. I want to ask some questions of some folks in the chat, and really, if I can't, there may not be people that hold this position in the chat because I know a lot of you are folks that watch me tend to lean. Some of you tend to lean towards my way of thinking, but we'll see. Oh my. Glad to see more frequent streams lately. Also, fart! I'm playing RuneScape right now. You'll have to excuse me. I'm in the middle of a RuneScape game, Paul Zigo, and I will be paying very loose attention. For you see, I am farming in RuneScape. RuneScape. I'm playing RuneScape, Paul Zigo. Don't you know? Don't you know, Paul Zigo? Oh, shit, dude. Rickland just banned somebody for playing RuneScape. Man, I fucking love my Spectres. They're the best. They really are the greatest. The GOATs. They all deserve their positions. I'm playing RuneScape, personally. What is a man but a miserable pile of secrets? Oh, yeah, Smashing Pumpkins breakup was pretty nasty for sure. I mean, most band breakups don't go very amicably, so bands tend to break up hard. Paul, I'm high. One time I farted at school and the whole class heard it. Fart! This was in the 5th grade. Oof. And they all knew it came from you, too. So, like, sometimes you can let a fart and get away with it because people just look in your general direction and you can look all confused like everybody else. Like, this is the look you got to have on your face when you drop a fart like that. You got to be like, you got to be looking around, too. Ventrilla farting, yeah. Yeah, you got to be looking around, too. You got to be like, who just dropped ass? If you can pull that off, nobody's going to know it was you. They're going to look at the poor bastard that, is just kind of blank-faced. Like, they're going to go, oh, it was him or her. The best defense, dude. Farting has the best defense, dude. He who smelt it dealt it. And then you can come back with he who denied it supplied it. But it's pretty much over once the he who smelt it dealt it is dealt. It's such the best way. Like you rip a nice, nasty, silent fart, and then you wait for somebody to pipe up and go, "Oh, who did that?" And then you say, "Oh man, he who smelt it dealt it." It's over. Everybody in the car now thinks that they fart. Smelt equals dealt, dude. Thanks for the Hadouken. I'll return a Shoryuken because there's iframes at the startup of an EX Shoryuken, and I can go through your Hadouken and hit you with my fucking dragon uppercut. How do you like that? Can you use a Discord chat instead of a YouTube chat? I can't even say basic cuss words, man. I mean, no. No. The fact that you're lamenting the fact that you can't use cuss words makes me glad that YouTube is so draconian with its top chat shit. Because you'd just be... You'd be insane. Wake up, Shorio is the tech. Yeah, dude, that's the tech. He who smelt it, dealt it. I love it. So, I'm not even really sure how to go about this. So I'll just throw it out there. I was watching a Vosh video, sitting here playing some video games earlier, listening to Vosh rant and rave at a couple of media figures who I don't know, Crystal Ball and Sagar Bagar or whatever the fuck. I don't know either of them. I don't watch them. But he was given his whole riding with Biden spiel. And then he briefly talked about bully Biden, right? So I guess first I'll ask, like, how many of you guys are riding with Biden in here? I guess put a 1 in the chat if you're riding with Biden. Up in here. Some 1s popping up. We got some 1s riding with Biden. We got some 0s. I like my 0s. You ain't got to apologize. I don't care who you vote for. Don't have a choice. Yeah. Understood. A lot of 0s. I'm loving my 0s, man. I don't know what I expect. I have a lot of 0s, though. And that's good to know. It's good to know that I've got a good balance of 0s. But there were quite a few 1s. So to those of you that put 1 in the chat, I want to ask you about part of this tactic, right? Because Vosh says we vote in Biden and then we bully Biden. To me, this seems like a backwards way to bully someone. Give them the ultimate power in the world and then bully them? Aren't you supposed to bully someone like a politician before you give them ultimate power into making policy concessions and promises and shit? So the plan right now, as I understand it, is let's make Biden the literal king of the world, and then we'll bully him into being more like us. Am I just being thick on this one? Am I being a little thick here? Make Biden the king of the universe, and then we bully him. That's like taking the schoolyard bully, right? Here's an analogy for you. That's like taking the big schoolyard bully kid and sending him to like a 2-year training camp to learn Krav Maga and BJJ and ninjutsu and kung fu and shit, and then bringing him back to school and then going like, now it's time to stand up to that bully. It's like, I don't know, man. I guess it's one of those things that I want to ask Vosh and anybody who's kind of following his logic on this. It's one of the biggest problems I've got with his proposition that voting for Biden is better, because it's contingent on this idea that we can get Biden in there and then bully him. So I guess I'd like to ask him. I know TJ holds Vosh's position on this. And so tomorrow we're going to be filming a banter-sode. I think that's going to be what I bring to the banter-sode, is I'm going to try and have this talk with TJ. Biden is trying to be reelected, he will need to make some concessions. Biden has already made overtures to the fact that he's not interested in being reelected. He's already made some indirect overtures to the fact that he's really only interested in being a one-term president. So you don't even get that. You don't even get that. Biden might not even survive a first term. Biden might not even survive long enough to win the presidency. He's fucking 76 years old. He could keel over at any moment. I don't even back Biden for that reason, but certainly he's more susceptible to bullying than Trump. See, this is the same kind of argument. It's like, how? In what way? In what way do you think he's more susceptible to bullying from the left than Trump would be? He doesn't have to, once he's the president, he doesn't have to please his constituency. He doesn't have to make good on a single promise he made. He doesn't have to do shit but serve the donor class that got him there. He might make overtures towards some liberal measures, and that's really the argument that riding with Biden people make for voting with Biden. It's he's probably going to make an overture or two to gay people or trans people or black people or something. So, but as far as you bullying him into becoming more progressive, into adopting a more socialist agenda, it's not how bullying works. You don't empower your bully and then bully him. It's ridiculous and backwards. But it's the only thing we can do, and it's, mathematically, logically better. It's this is what we're reduced to on the left. Yeah. Yee. Empower the bully, yeah. Not just empower, though. It's literally it's parody level hilarious. You're empowering him the most that a human being can be empowered. You're giving him the most powerful position in the world. This is not just the mayor or something. He's going to be the fucking president of the United States. You're making him the single most powerful person in the world when you elect him. And then you're going to bully him. He's going to do just what every other fucking president has done. Whatever the fuck he wants with his middle finger in the air. Expansions of fucking executive power. removal of war powers from Congress, passage of the Patriot Act. You're going to bully him. Guantanamo Bay stays open through all 8 years of my supposedly progressive presidency. My promise to deliver on single-payer fucking healthcare for all turns into a giant gift for corporations. Did a real good job of bullying these presidents. The lolly-lule-low. It's the lolly-lule-low. That's who's behind it all, the lolly-lule-low. They're the organization that's even higher than the Sons of Liberty. The lolly-lule-low. Let's give our bully an invincible set of power armor, and then let's bully him. Let's like literally wrap him in a giant mech suit, bristling with missiles and lasers and deflector shields and shit. And then let's, come on, give me a lunch money, Biden. No. You know what I mean? It just doesn't work that way. I don't get it. I don't get this tactic. And it's just like unironically sold over and over again on Bosch's stream. And he's not the only one. There's a lot of leftists doing this shit. Like, well, yeah, you know, Biden marginally better than Trump. And what we can do is we can like get him in power. And then we bully him into making concessions and go and moving farther to the left. It's like, I don't understand. Trump wins, then what? Then we've got 4 years of a dementia-ridden corporatist in the White House, which ironically is exactly what we get if we elect Biden. 4 years of a dementia-ridden corporatist in the White House. This one is lemon flavored, though, instead of lime flavor, so. He was sitting and talking about how the parties are both the same meme as the most infantile 4th grade level meme. Number one, most people aren't making the argument that both parties are literally the same. I think most people that make that argument are talking about the outcomes being the same and the end goals being the same and the non-responsiveness to global economic problems and global ecological problems being the same and the ultimate beneficiaries of their policies being the same. My contention has never been that there's no difference between a Democrat and a Republican. My contention has always been there's nowhere near enough of a difference. They agree on too much. They end up being too much of the same type of politician when it comes to the things that I think are the most important, like empowering the working class, like reestablishing a middle class in this country. There just isn't a candidate for it. They're on the same team, right? They're like two different propaganda arms for the same team. They're on Team Billionaire, right? And they've got these social issues that they can use as political footballs to keep everybody squabbling and arguing about which one of their candidates gets elected, but ultimately they win. The deck is stacked. It's like they decide what choices you're given. You know, I don't know how to explain this. I know it sounds simplistic, but I think there's a lot of people that don't understand or just aren't willing to engage with the argument. They call it silly and infantile and childish and shit, but they don't really engage with the truth of the argument. You don't really have a choice. You're given a choice. You're given a choice between two candidates. The organizations and methods by which these candidates are chosen are spurious and don't really involve you. And you're expected to cheerlead for the candidate that has the right letter next to their name based on your leanings on certain social and economic issues. Meanwhile, the rape of the natural world continues unabated. Meanwhile, the rape of the third world continues unabated. Meanwhile, the corporatization of our entire culture continues unabated. Meanwhile, constant proxy wars fought with other world powers continue unabated, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and the fucking beat goes on. These are the things that they care about. We care about Medicare for all. We care about liberal justices. We care about liberal court leanings, liberal appointments. We care about that type of shit. They don't give a fuck about that. Those things are bargaining chips for them. Easily, okay, yeah, here's a liberal justice. Bing. Now, does the endless grinding war stop? No. Does the endless funneling of trillions of dollars of taxpayer money down the corporate hole, the literal black hole that is modern money markets, stop? They could hire like 1 million people in this country to just do an endless chain of passing garbage bags filled with fucking cash to throw down a hole. Just $100 bills. They could do that all day and it wouldn't even, it would take years. It would take years to throw as much money down the hole as we throw down the hole fucking quarterly in this country. It's not going to stop. And these are the things that are behind a lot of the things that we hold as problems. Social inequality, racism, implicit racial segregation. All of these things can be traced right back to money. It's the poverty, folks. It's the money, folks. It's the inequality that is created by capitalism, especially unrestrained capitalism. I don't know, man. You think you just heard gunshots? You know it's the 4th of July, right? If you're in America, you're fine. You're not going to see sweeping change like Medicaid for all, but Biden was more susceptible to small progressive changes. Was. If you lived in a major swing state, would you vote for Biden if you could mail-in ballot? I do think Biden's staff would slow the bleed. Huh? If I lived in a major swing state, I wouldn't care. Where I live doesn't matter. I live in a state where my vote for a leftist candidate would be worse than meaningless. It would be worse than a waste of my time to vote here. So, and my voting for any kind of progressive policy. I just don't get the chance. So local voting, total waste of my time here. So no. But if I lived in a swing state, I would be no more called to vote for Biden than I am now. I would feel no more of an obligation to do what other people think I should do than I do now. Just another incident of history repeating. California could turn red on a long enough time scale. It could happen. I could see it. But I could also see Texas turning blue, and that being the big kind of swap that happens. I think Texas will turn blue before, or purple, you know. I hate politics, though, so who fucking cares? But yeah, I could see California being a red state eventually. It'll all be all right. Humans have fundamentally restructured society before. We can do it again, especially with our knowledge and technology now, dude. I really do appreciate your fucking, optimism. I want you to know that. Just because I'm a pessimist doesn't mean that I don't appreciate your optimistic outlook, but I think you are full of fucking shit. It's not going to be okay. Now, you're right that humans have fundamentally restructured society before, but you're wrong that everything's going to be all right. For most people, everything is not going to be all right. There's going to be a period of great tragedy and suffering and death and horrible war, horrible resource squabbling, and horrible fucking localized violence and horrible, horrible things. Economic degradation and poverty and hunger and lack of medical attention. I mean, guys, that's what comes with the restructuring of society that you're talking about, no matter what. There's no way, especially under the boot heel of the type of system we are now, which is, a republic, a constitutional republic masquerading as a representative democracy, masquerading as a corporate oligarchy. Or I guess invert that. A corporate oligarchy masquerading as a representative democracy, masquerading as a constitutional republic. Like, there's no way to restructure that, so it has to be torn down. And in tearing it down, the people that have the power, which right now is represented by the capital that they have, are going to fight tooth and nail, and they're going to kill all of us. They're going to try and kill all of us. If not directly, then in wars. They may not show up at your door to drag you to the gulag, but your draft number might get pulled. Let's put it that way. With the new war with China, we've got to defend India after all, right? They can pull the trigger anytime on one of these types of wars, and they'll do it. They'll do it. If it serves their geopolitical interest, they'll do it. And pacifies the fucking public, / gives the public an enemy that isn't the fucking state. They'll do it. And it'll work. Most people will coalesce around it, just like most people are coalescing around their fucking corporatist candidates, whether it be Trump or Biden. That's right. We can't let these Chinese bastards. There'll be a resurgence of fucking violence against people of Asian descent in this country, just like there was against Muslims when we went to war with that part of the world. There'll be a resurgence of racism and violence and discrimination against people of Asian origin. And an entire generation of young people will be sent to die in Southeast Asia, probably. trying to establish a foothold closer to China. Do you think you were low energy, Paul, because back in the day you had more energy and enthusiasm? When I go back and watch my old videos, I've got to tell you guys that I was really trying to emulate the energy of the time. Like, vlogging had a very particular style, and I didn't want to do, like, usually it was accomplished by jump cuts. The style was this: there's never a second that isn't filled completely with an idea. You never stop talking. You never stop saying anything. It's a constant run-on thought. And usually people accomplished this by inserting tons of jump cuts. So they would speak like I'm speaking now, and then instead of taking a natural pause like I do sometimes, like at the end of sentences, they would cut all that out and go right into the next argument, right into the next argument, right into the next argument. Jump cut, jump cut, jump cut, jump cut, jump cut, right? I always hated that. But I knew that I needed to emulate that style if I wanted people to watch and listen to what I was doing. So I just practiced on talking really fast. Like, I wanted, if I was going to put out a 10-minute video, I wanted it to be densely packed with content like a jump cutted video would be. And so I really developed, if you go watch my early videos, I didn't do it at all. And as time went on, I started watching these other vloggers and seeing how and that's the way it was back then. Fast talking was the way to do it. Jump cuts. And I didn't want to do the jump cuts. I didn't like that style. And so I decided to try and develop a speaking style that was based on momentum. So that's why back in the day, I talked different on YouTube, and it took me a long time being more conversational on podcasts, which, excuse me, which really encourage you to be conversational, to start talking like I talk in my normal life. Like, I was putting on not a character necessarily. Like, I stand behind the arguments I was making, but in terms of how I presented myself, the farther back you go on my channel, the more of a character you are seeing. The more of a carefully designed, this is how I have to speak to be taken seriously on YouTube type of person you're seeing. And the farther forward you go on my channel, the more you just see me. Because it kind of turned from a more polished content, or at least focused ranting channel, to this. A hangout live stream channel where those things still happen. I still rant like a motherfucker. It just happens during a stream where we're all chilling. So if you see a difference in the way that I am, that's likely due to that. But once again, I can't see myself through your eyes. I can only tell you what I think looking back. It wasn't even the tedium of editing, Cynic, that I was going against. Like, I just aesthetically disliked the jump cut style. It felt really disingenuous and false to me. And so rather than do that, like I said, I developed a way of speaking very, very quickly, and I kind of practiced my arguments before I sat down to film them. I never wrote anything, or very rarely did I write for a video, but I would practice. So I would rehearse in my mind and sometimes out loud some of the things that I wanted to say. I would decide which parts of the video that I wanted to watch and for how long. And then I would sit down and record in one take, usually as quickly as I possibly could, a reaction that had no pauses and no dead time. That was my goal, and so that's how I would make my show back then. I mean, I learned a lot of it from TJ. TJ was like very, very heavy into jump cuts for a while. And I was just starting to get bigger on my channel at the time when jump cuts were really the way that everybody was presenting their shit. All of, like, TJ was never like, I don't think, the super tippity top of YouTube, but all of those people, the tip top people, were all doing it too. So the lack of jump cuts in my videos is reflective of that. I just have never aesthetically liked the jump cut style, so I don't do it. It's not catered for people with ADD. It's catered for a society that demands more information quicker. It's why, there aren't more people watching us right now, because this type of content that is slow and conversational and extemporaneous, it only appeals to a very, very select few people. Now, things that I talk about in a vacuum, like if you take a clip of tonight's show or last night's show, there's a lot of people that would be interested in that because it's focused on one thing. But as far as being part of the conversation and seeing how that evolves, there's only a select few people that are really interested in that. At 2:50 a.m., I mean, that doesn't really matter. There are people up at every hour of the night and every hour of the day. For some of the people in here watching, it's not 2:30 in the morning. It's like fucking 10 in the morning, and they're in Europe and shit. It's like noon or something over there. You know what I mean? See? So it's morning time for a lot of people. See, I have a global audience, my friend. Got that global audience going on. So yes, but you are correct. It's fairly late for us. It's almost 3 a.m. for me. Now everybody in the chat's going to do a time check. You know what? We haven't done this in a while. So let's do this. Roll call in the chat right now. Where are you from? Give us as much information as you're comfortable with, stopping short of your fucking address. Don't give us that, but tell us the city, state, country you're from. Michigan, North Carolina, Seattle, Vacaville. Okay, cool. Seattle, capital of Cali. Oh man, shit's going fast. Hold on, I'm gonna have to slow it down. Botosani, Romania. Damn, crazy. Look at all this. Australia. It's 4 p.m. over there. Las Vegas, Portland, Oregon, California, Ohio, Bay Area, Kentucky, Austin, Texas, Houston, Texas, LA County, Miami, Bay Area, Greeley, Colorado, Tampa, Washington State, Oklahoma, Ontario, Canada. Damn, man. Crazy. East Coast people. Providence, Rhode Island. South Carolina. Utah from the depths of Mormon land. In my house. Detroit, SoCal, Bay Area, Nottingham. Is that a thing? Or are you trolling? Skyrim? Okay, cool. Scotland. Oh, aye, laddie. From the Highlands ye are. I knew it. Blackpool. Blackstool. I'm from Blackstool, England. North Korea. Whoa. You might want to get off this stream, man. You're going to get in trouble. The center of the earth. So yeah, a lot of late night East Coasters in the audience. That's cool. Of course, I was wondering, Jonah boy, when the one edgy guy that says hell was going to come along, and there you are. I was literally wondering in the back of my head, like, not one Tajikafant level edgelord is going to say hell. And then, but then you came in. Are you a Tajikafant too? Be honest about it. Be honest about it. Don't lie if you are. I'll know if you're lying. Jonah, you're a Tajikafant, aren't you? Tell me the truth. Tell me the truth. He's a Tajikafant, dude. I know a Tajikafant when I say a Tajikafant. That's a Tajik. Dude, only a Tajikafant would be like, in response to where you from, would wait and say, hell. That's a Tajikafant, man. I watched TJ for a long time, but I like your streams more. Okay. You're a Tajikafant because of nostalgia. I get it. You're low-key a Tajikafant. I know. You know what? Out yourselves in the chat. Out yourselves in the chat. I want a 1 in the chat if you're a straight-up Tajikafant. I want to know. I'm not going to nobody ban anybody. Spectres, I don't give orders. I want nobody banned for being Tajikafants. Come out of the closet. Come out of the closet. I want to see them. Oh, my God. Look at them all. Oh, my God. There they are. Oh. Look at them. Oh, my God. There they are, man. They're like cockroaches. Look at them all. Oh, man. Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, Spectres, ban everybody that posted one. I'm kidding. Don't do it. I just wanted to scare them. Don't do it. All right, yeah. We'll do a whole poll. Find out where you guys are on the totem pole. We got our ones. Sorry, I can't match the 200, but you majorly helped develop my worldview, and I can't thank you for the hours of laughs, insight you have given me. Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Don't worry about it. Every little bit helps. Your $4.99 is appreciated. Thank you. Paul's great purge. Yeah. All right, let's do this. It looks like we found out the Tajikafants have outed themselves. And that's a brave thing. I commend you, Tajikafants, for displaying a quality not usually ascribed to your kind, which was the courage of your convictions. Scottists, one's in the chat. Genuine Scottists, come out of the closet now. Genuine Scottists, I want them ones in the chat. Throw it up. There's one. We got a kinda. Tony Flamingo voted twice. There's a few ones popping off here. Scottists. Scottists abound. There's some somewhats. Scottism shouldn't exist. Look at them, man. The place is crawling with them. The place is maggoty with Scottists and Tajikafants. Yeah, all right. Well, we'll check it. It looks like we found our Scottists. Where are the Stavangelists at? I like that name. I'm just going to pretend I came up with it myself, Colby Cap. Are there any Stavangelists in the audience? Throw up your ones. Stavangelists, dude. Stevie, people that stand Stevie. Oh, my God. Look at them. There's the Stavangelists, dude. Under creations, man. Stavangelists. Neon Jenny is Steve Evangelion, dude. That's fucking great. Neon Genesis Steve Evangelion. Oh my goodness. All right. And then polishers or politicians or I don't know, what are some other names that y'all have adopted for yourselves? Polishers. Throw up your ones now. Let's find out if there's actually the right balance. Philosophers, yeah. Paul washers, yep. Oh my goodness. This is lovely. This is exactly what I want to see. There it is. Someone, Evan, thank you for the $2 just to vote. There, I got a hot dog too. Thank you, CJ. All right. At least the ratio is right here because they're still coming, man. The polishers are polidarity. Yeah. The polidarity is strong. Apologist. I like that. Blessed be ye, children of the salt. Blessings upon each of thee, children of the salt. Paul defiles. Okay, no. I don't like that one. That one's getting struck from the. Okay, that's not an official name. Polygamists. I like that one. I like polygamists. We can go with that one. Apostles. I mean, whatever. Pallbearers. I like that one too. That one's grim, so I like it. Yeah. I like pallbearers. That one's grim. Paul defiles, man. I gotta take something that's fun and turn it into something horrible. Paul washers, yeah. I like pallbearers a lot. I think if I were to ever officially change the official name of polishers, it would be to pallbearers. I may think about it. Because I can do that, you know. I can overnight, you guys are no longer polishers. You're pallbearers if I want to make that happen. But I'm not gonna make a hasty decision about that. Polygons. Okay, all right. Oh, my Undertaker, he's coming. Oh. Polytheists. All right. We're starting to get to the bottom of the barrel with these now. Oh, Paul for one and one for Paul. I like it. That's a nice longer, motto for you guys. But I got to be honest with you guys. I still like polishers slightly better. Oh, yeah. That is true. That is true. Is there anybody out there who stands the Dinor? Is there anybody out there who stands the Dirty D? One's in the chat for Dinorites. Oh. Oh, yeah, you're hearing the fireworks and you're scared, boy. Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry, buddy. He doesn't like these lights either. Dinor is not a fan of my lights, man. He is just not comfortable in here with these lights around. I don't blame him. They suck. Yeah, we had to shave him down. He got fleas really, really bad during the lockdown. And then there's Cricket. You guys can start standing for Cricket too. Whoa, look at him giving me the push. He's so black, it's hard to see him on my camera with the settings that I have. So I have the contrast turned down so that, the darks are darker, and he's just... But yeah, it's hard to show him off on stream, unfortunately, because they just hate these fucking lights. Phone streams, it'll be easier. But right now is not the time of year to be doing phone streams. But yeah, Dynor got fleas really bad, and we fought him for a while. We couldn't take him to get groomed for a while because, the lockdown orders and shit. And so we just kind of fought him the best we could. But when we finally got to the point where we could go drop him off with Aunt Chelsea, we just, shave everything. Take him down to the naked butt. And we got him under control now. Does Dynor smoke CBD? No. Naked Dynor, he's great. Did he get the fleas from me? Yes. Yeah, he caught the fleas from me. Do you have his anal glands expressed? Yes. Chelsea does that for him. She gives him a good bath, and this time she had to bathe him twice to get rid of the fleas, and shaved him down, squeezed out his booty glands. Chelsea's the best, dude. She's the only person that I'll ever trust with Dynor. Like, as long as I live near Chelsea, I will not ever take him to anybody else to get groomed. I don't trust anybody else. She's like real life Dr. Doolittle. Dr. Doolittle's the dude that can like talk to animals and knows what they're thinking and can like help all the animals and stuff. That's Chelsea, but in real life. Like, I've never seen somebody that's instantly so good with every animal. Like, I would want Chelsea around if I got caught out with a mountain lion or something, because she'd be able to like talk to the mountain lion and end up petting it. She's like one of those like forest nymphs or something that what like talks to the animals. Someone graffitied the Little Mermaid statue with the words "racist fish." That's pretty funny. I don't know why, but that's pretty funny. Was that the first time you'd seen TJ and Chelsea since COVID started? Yeah. It's the first time I'd seen them face to face when I dropped Dynor off the other day. We were in masks and shit when we made the exchange. But yeah, it was good to see him. I've seen Taylor and Scotty once or twice. They've dropped things off over here, for me, and I've gone down to go grab them, and they've seen me in my mask a couple of times. They're going to drop off a new hoodie for me tomorrow. We're launching a new DFF shirt. There's actually a couple of shirts in the pipeline. We're launching a new DFF shirt, which kicks fucking ass. And I got a big, giant 4X hoodie of it. And I think that Taylor's going to come and snap some fucking pictures of me. She wants pictures of all of us wearing the things we got. Because I think the guys got T-shirts. And then I got the hoodie. And she got a hoodie. And I think we're going to order a hoodie for my girlfriend, too. We're going to just take some pictures of people wearing their hoodies. But there's a couple of shirts on the horizon that are really fucking cool. One in particular that I fucking love, man. Like, I'll tease it here. It's a Doomer shirt. It features a portrait of me done in a very cool style. And it's going to be awesome. Very reminiscent of the Coolsville shirt in terms of being cool, even if you don't know who I am, it just looks like a cool shirt. I will purchase. Well, cool. Those will be available soon. I'll have mine tomorrow, so maybe tomorrow I'll show it off on a Highdeology or something. Maybe I'll do a Highdeology for just the patrons tomorrow and show it off. I don't know. I'll figure something out. Prying. Yeah, I like that Third Eye Paul portrait. The Coolsville shirt. I never got a Coolsville shirt, so I don't even own one. Isn't that sad? I always kept just saying, like, oh, I'll get one of those eventually, and then eventually they just weren't available to me anymore, and I was like, oh. Damn. I don't own a Coolsville shirt. You'd think I'd have like 3 or 4 of them. It's like a shirt of my face. I never bought one. I never got one. Ask shirt guy for one. He doesn't have one of my size, though. And I don't think he'd give up the one he has. He's got a collection, man. You ever slept with a black woman? No, I have not. Now available for 3 strips of gold-plated Your Dignity. Yeah, exactly. Whatever you say, bro. Paul is too cool to have a shirt with his face on it. No, I'm actually not. I wish I did. I wish I still had that shirt. But whatever. I could probably get that shirt made again. Just have one printed just for me. So maybe I'll do that. Because I've got the, like, I don't have the original files myself, but I'm pretty sure the guys do. They have access to that shit, so I could probably pay to have one just printed for me. I saw this black flight attendant today, and she stopped my heart. Oh, yeah? Were she hot? You ever sleep with a guy, color notwithstanding? No. I fooled around when I was pretty young with somebody who at the time identified as biologically male, who went on to be a trans woman. But I've never, like, fucked a dude or messed around with a dude as an adult in any serious way. Tell her you're going to tear the Beyonce poster down when you get home. Say what? Is that your only gay experience? Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much. Are you Rasputin that gained some weight? Yes. And I've just put a curse on your family for 8 fucking generations for pointing out my weight. So get fucked. And also fuck your children and your children's children and your children's children's children, etc. for 8 generations. You're cursed. The curse of fat sputin be upon you. Why did I abandon the Romanovs? Because those dudes were lame. Let's be real. Did you know the Romanov? Well, that's a dumb question, of course. You're not an immortal wizard. They sucked. They were shitty people. They were begging to be abandoned. So, fuck them. I found that to be true. I've traveled, as you can imagine, as Rasputin in most royal courts, and yeah, most royals are super fucking lame. Like they're all inbred. You know, you didn't hear it from me, but they're all, you know, they're all cousin fuckers. So what can you expect? Of course, I'm an immortal. Yeah, they kept the bloodline pure. So pure that they're all a bunch of fucking weird, stunted mutants now. Thank goodness they don't really have any power in most places anymore. They're just like relics of a bygone age. They're like living statues that the people maintain. Well, I mean, the verbiage of the time was different. So my op-ed was not Romanovs were lame. Okay, I would have never said that back in the day. You know, part of being an immortal is adapting yourself to the verbiage and colloquialisms and fucking peculiarities of language of the times, right? If I was still talking like I talked back in the old Romanov days and shit, you guys probably wouldn't even understand me. Well, most of you definitely wouldn't understand me because I'd be speaking Russian, or more particularly Prussian. Interview with the Fat Sputin. Yeah, ask me anything, man. I know everything about everything. I mean, mask off. I'm Rasputin. So I've lived forever. I always have been. I always shall be. Was getting fat part of your plan? I mean, you can't look exactly the same. If I looked exactly like you know, I chunked up to kind of hide the, you know what I mean? But whatever, you guys caught me. I try and cut my hair, but I always eventually return to this, and it's like it calls me. You know what I mean? What is humanity's destiny as you see it? Humanity has no destiny. Humanity's destiny is what I've been telling you it is. We're going to die out on a burnt out cinder of a fucking world that used to be very, very lush with life. And when we leave it, we'll have some microbes and insects left to show. Are you an incarnation of Rasputin? No. I'm Rasputin. Do you think either Biden or Trump would pass the dementia clock test? No. They both have dementia. Newsflash, they both have dementia. I know that because I'm Rasputin. So. Is humanity's future among the stars? Yes, but not in the way that you think. Eventually, a much more advanced civilization is going to discover the planet Earth and discover our folly, and we are going to become one of the greatest cosmic jokes of all time amongst the other spacefaring civilizations. Fucking up in 3,000 years will be known as pulling a human. What came first, the chicken or the egg? The chicken. If elected president, what measures would you take as our leader? I would immediately grab the nuclear button and launch them all. That would be my first and only act as your president. I would aim them all at all of the countries that have the most nukes, and I would fire them all. I'd be like the president. Have you guys ever seen that or read the book, I guess, but the movie portrayal is really what I'm talking about. I think it's The Dead Zone, the Stephen King movie, The Dead Zone, with Christopher Walken, and Martin Sheen plays the psychotic fucking president. that wants to nuke the world, that would be me. That would literally be me standing there with two guys going, Mr. President, are you absolutely sure you want to do this? And I'd be like, gentlemen, the dawn of a new age is upon us. Let the missiles fly. Hallelujah. Now press the goddamn button. And if you didn't, I'd have like a goon, you know, that was like totally loyal to me. If he was like, I'm not going to do it, I'd just look at that guy and a gun would come out and he'd say, put your fucking hand on the button. And yeah. And then I'd open the door and the vice president would be like, Mr. President, you don't have to do this. We found a diplomatic solution. And I'd be like, gentlemen, the missiles are already in the air. Hallelujah. That would be me. I'm just literally going to do it just like that. So that's my presidential platform. I mean, you asked. Depression is a hell of a drug. Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess your gross oversimplification of my position and your obvious need to be mean about an obvious joke justifies my pressing of the goddamn button. So when you die in nuclear fire, I'll laugh thinking just about you. One of the giggles that I have as the missiles fly will be giggling about you. We all deserve to die. Even you, Mrs. Lovitz, even I. There's a hole in the world like a great black pit, and it's filled with people who are filled with shit, and the vermin of the world inhabit it, and it goes by the name of London. Damn, Paul, you just hypothetically alleviated every one of the suffering in their own skin suits on the hell we call Earth. Yeah. The greatest kindness ever done. Rasputin, it is I, your buddy, Count Cagliostro. I have a message for you from our dark overlords. All right, well, now is not the place to do this, Cagliostro. There are other lines of communication that you can use other than the publicly viewable chat. I mean, come on, Cagliostro. Act like you're a fucking immortal. Yeah, that's the Rust and Cole kind of pessimist view. The True Detective Season 1 Rust Cole view. That the greatest kindness that humans could do for one another is to stop breeding and to walk hand in hand into extinction. Brothers and sisters rejecting a raw deal. We all go together. Season 1 of that show is a masterpiece. I agree. Very underrated, very under talked about. Dude, Rust had all solid points. Rust and Cole was like the personification of like being correct about humanity. And the only thing about his character that I didn't like was at the end, he kind of broke down and admitted that he was wrong and that it was all coming from a place of hurt. That was bullshit. When the log rolls over, we're dead, we're dead. When the log rolls over, we're dead, we're dead. Reproducing is evil. People who have kids are unforgivable, but I will have to put aside to maneuver through people. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to go that far and shit, but I know where I stand on it. I would never have a child. I would never, ever, ever, ever. I'm so fucking glad I never brought a child into this world, because there is a point in time in my life where I was genuinely trying and genuinely wanted that. And I'm thankful every day that it didn't happen. Every day. Like, I just couldn't, like, bringing a child into this world. I don't know, dude. Just can't really fucking square that with my morality, so. We'll all bake together when we bake. There'll be no body present at the wake. Damn. It's getting deep in here. I like it. I did not bring Dinor into the world. I just raised his little hairy ass. I did not give birth to Dinor, nor facilitate his birth in any way. It's lyrics you're doing? Oh, cool. Cool lyrics. Let's all love this spectacular moment and live in the present. Yes. Imagine all the missiles. It's easy if you try. Sprouting all around you. And arcing across the sky. Doom, 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 doom. Imagine all the missiles flying away for peace. Ooh, ooh. Oh, boy. Imagine there's no suffering. It's an easy thing to do. No divorces or breakups, and no war or religion too. Doom, 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 doom. Imagine there's no people. Oh, man. Immoral. Whatever, dude. Whatever, dude. I mean, look, I don't want to die any more than the next person does. I'm not that edgy anymore. Like, I'll be honest, straight up honest with you guys. I'm just as afraid of death as anybody in the fucking world is. I'm not trying to put on that brave face. And I don't think that I really actually subscribe to the let's eliminate humanity, antinatalism, let's just all walk into extinction together viewpoint. Only because I just see it as completely unrealistic, and it's something that humanity will never adopt. Now, I think that there's a really good argument to be made for eliminating our suffering by consigning ourselves to mutual extinction and accepting it and having one or two last generations, and that's it. But do I think that human beings as a whole are ever going to do that? No. So I think it'd be a pretty pointless thing to ascribe to. So barring that, I try and advocate for things that I think are going to reduce human suffering. So that's why I advocate for the abolition of all capital, the establishment of a resource-based economy that's global, the dissolving of borders, the dissolving of basic need, healthcare, education, and housing, all provided for everyone, no matter what. There are enough resources on this planet to do that. And then some. So I'm a futurist. I advocate for the eventual turning over of our political process to machines that are far more capable than we are of making the most rational decisions and doing it quickly with the idea of preservation of life and reduction of suffering at their cores. We get out of the business of fucking each other over with the political knife over and over again and then failing because of it. Like, you know, humanity cannot, if we're going to exist, we can't exist as a doomed species that continuously creates civilizations and then allows the politics of those civilizations to destroy those civilizations with its greed and obstinance and warmongering and fear-mongering and bullshit and concentration of wealth. Because it's just happened over and over again in history. All you have to do is look at pretty much any empire drowned in their own opulence. Some of them were victims of other fucking empires that drowned in their own opulence. Whole civilizations ended with whole ways of life that have all but been forgotten, snuffed out by some other ascendant empire that eventually collapsed under the weight of its own greed and was replaced by another one that will eventually collapse. You know, that's the cycle as I see it. And so I advocate for breaking it, breaking the wheel of capital, breaking the wheel of exploitation and accumulation. $1 million or Jude Law is your boy toy for life. I wouldn't want to subvert Jude Law's will. That's not hot to me. Like, I'm not into the idea of asking a genie to make somebody want to fuck me. Like, if that happened, it would creep me out. Like, if Jude Law suddenly showed up and was like, you know what I mean? And I knew that his will had been subverted and that I'd taken him away from his life and his desires and what he actually would want. That I would not be hot to me. It would be weird. I would feel like it was like I was fucking a zombie of him and that I killed him. So I'd take the $1 million. A cycle of historical materialism, yeah. I just got done talking about how humanity is locked in a constant battle with itself. And then Stuart McDonald asks, Paul, who's worse, Crowder or Shapiro? It's like, when it hits, man. Sometimes when it hits hard. I don't know who's actually worse, dude. I don't watch either of those dudes. I learned very early on to not listen to pundits. And so I don't. I'm not up to date on what they're saying. I don't listen to their arguments. They have nothing on either side of the aisle to say to me. I don't watch them. I don't listen to them. I don't respond to them. I don't care. I learned very early on in my life what a pundit is. I grew up listening to Rush Limbaugh. And let me tell you, like, learning that dude was a total fucking piece of fucking shit, utterly un-American corporatist cocksucker. That's all I needed. Now, if I listen to that type of person, it's like conservative talk radio. And I listen so that I can just listen to how low will they go. I don't listen to media figures. I don't have a favorite one. I don't want to talk about any of the personality quirks or dating lives of them. I don't care what they're saying on their shows. I don't. I don't even watch people on YouTube. Every once in a while, I'll catch a video of somebody whose videos I like. TJ, Vosh, fucking some Let's Player that I really like. I don't care. I really don't care to hear what 99% of people have to say about anything. It's just the truth. Especially people that are in the fucking business of punditry. What if Vosh is actually a right-winger? Yeah, he's just like a plant meant to delegitimize the left by pushing it further towards radicalism. But he's like this total fucking Nazi in real life. Yeah, man. What a twist. What do you do? I watch movies. Like with my spare time, I watch movies, I play games, I work on my shows. I chill with my girlfriend. I chill with Dinor. I chill with Cricket. I talked to my mom today for fucking 2.5 hours on the phone. I don't know. Like, what do you do with your time? She still call you Peaches? Yes, she does. That's pretty much all she calls me. Good on you. Mom talks rule if you have a good mom. I do have a good mom. Mom talks are hard sometimes, though. Mom talks are not always easy. Especially during this time. It's a weird time to have a mom that lives, half the country away from you. When you finally make your magnum opus film, would you avoid media or interviews? How often would you leave your island mansion to greet the public? I would be very, like, if I ever got to that level where it's like I made some film and everybody's like, oh my God, he's brilliant, we all have to talk about him, I would be very careful which interviews I do. I'd probably do one. You know what I mean? And I would have like a really aggressive agent that booked it, that oversaw all of that would get me the best fucking, most advantageous fucking position. And and the person that would ask me the most interesting questions, and I'd do one interview and that would be it. I'd just disappear till my next movie. Has your mom heard you call her racist? Yeah. I've called her that to her face. His mannerisms and just the way Vosh talks reminds me a lot of Destiny. I like them both. I think he comes from Destiny's like audience, if I'm not mistaken. I may be wrong. But I'm pretty sure Vosh started as a personality, as a dude that was like in Destiny's chat a lot. So Destiny's like his like little role model or whatever the fuck. I don't know, dude. There's a lot of like Vosh hate that's going on. But I don't hate the dude. I just don't agree with some of his positions. His conclusions I don't think are flawed. Like I think he stands pretty much in the same area I do when it comes to imagining the future. And that's the most important thing to me. I don't agree with the riding with Biden thing. I agree with the constant wasting of our time participating in meaningless fucking pageant-like elections in the defense of, a bunch of social wedge issues while the world burns around us. I just don't think that that's the best thing we can do as leftists. He disagrees on that. That's fine. I don't think that you can bully a president into anything. I think that history proves that. I think that the position of president has only gotten more powerful in the last 2 decades or so. So it's really like king of the world. I don't think that you bully the king of the world. So I don't like this whole idea that let's elect this corporatist and then we'll bully him real hard on YouTube. You know, we'll launch screeds at him until he comes to he succumbs to our argument. It's like, I just don't feel like that's going to work. So this dream of getting Biden in there and then molding him into a somewhat reasonable progressive candidate, or forcing him to make a somewhat reasonable concession on some super progressive shit, I just don't see it happening. My main problem is he doesn't seem very accepting of different opinions. He seems like someone who thinks things should be done a certain way. Well, he's got a very particular way of going about things. He's got this, like, every decision that I make is backed by the most logical decision I can make, and he's big into this read-all theory type of stuff. I don't fault him. I think that being knowledgeable, if you're going to be the type of content maker that he is probably the best thing that you could do, so I will not fault him for that. Dude is knowledgeable. He can quote shit. He's smart. He's clearly an educated dude. I'm not saying he's like some kind of fucking professor or something, but, you know, I've talked to educated people before. I know how they speak, and he's one of them. He's definitely an educated person. Knows what he's talking about, and can back up his arguments with logical arguments. And it's okay to have disagreements with people and still overall support and like what they're doing. And that's kind of where I am with Foch. Like, I find myself agreeing with him more often than I disagree. It just seems like he's spending a lot of time now on issues that I disagree with him on. He's in this riding with Biden camp, and he's, I think, constantly and consistently misrepresenting people who aren't willing to vote for Biden in an attempt to shame them into voting for Biden by saying they're being illogical and they're being children. And I think that is not only time wasted as a leftist, but I think it's also divisive in a way that's destructive. I think it pushes people out of your camp. Like the fact that he's got like a big beef with Kyle Kulinski, like one of the leftiest dudes that I've ever personally interacted with and shit. You know, it's like, man, like, yeah, you can't just say, all right, I disagree with Kyle Kulinski. I think you should vote Biden. Here's my argument for it. Here's why I think his argument is fallacious about it. But, you know, overall, Kyle's right about the world. Overall, Kyle's got his heart's in the right place and his goals are noble. And you know, I support, here's where I agree with Kyle, and here's why I think you should keep watching Kyle, and etc. You know, we can't do that. We got to fucking snipe down everybody it's like ideological purity. And that's just fucking a waste of time on the left. Like, we need to unite as leftists. We actually need to unite as people. We need to be willing as leftists to unite with people that we don't agree with. In fact, people that we find repugnant, for common goals. Otherwise, we're fucked. I think it's telling that people don't acknowledge the fact that third parties, if they gain traction, would just be just as susceptible to corruption. Yeah, there's not a political answer to the end of capitalism. There's no way to phase it out slowly. There's no way to undermine it in a way that it won't claw back. I mean, we've tried. We've seen how we've restrained it in the past, and then it comes roaring back out even worse than it was before. It's like a little incubation chamber. You take something away from capitalism for a while, and then it just comes back worse. It finds ways to subvert the law and work around the law, and it comes back fucking worse. It's because he wants views. Fame has gone to his head. I'll get out of here. That's a silly reduction of his arguments, and it's not smart. It's not a smart critique of his arguments because he makes a lot of really smart arguments. I just don't like, I don't like the beefing with other people on the left shit. I think that's time wasted. I think there are plenty of people that are ideologically opposed to us that we need to challenge the ideas of. And I think we need to stand behind each other, not these candidates. The idea that Joe Biden is important enough to get elected that you're willing to scuttle somebody like Kyle Kalinske, who is righteously fucking angry and obstinate because Bernie was once again denied his rightful fucking place as a candidate. And we were given the fucking empty suit that is dementia-ridden fucking old toothless Joe Biden. He can't empathize with that. He's like, it's emotional arguments, and it's like, fuck that, man. Like, I think it's right to be emotional at a certain point. I think we need to encourage people to get emotionally angry at what's going on. We're being fucking exploited. We're being lied to. We're being given fucking stuffed suit candidates to vote for while the world gets worse for us, while $1 is worth less every fucking year, but wages remain stagnant for how many years now? 20, 30 years, stagnant. Why is it not bad? Or why is it bad? Explain to me why it is bad that people should be angry that every time a candidate comes along that there's a chance might take some of that power back and give it back to the people. They get scuttled by the very party that they're supposed to be supported by and replaced by a stuffed suit. Happened to Bernie now twice. We watched states that went for Bernie stand up and go, we choose Hillary Clinton. I watched it happen. It was like it was like a nightmare. It's like a dystopian 1984 fucking nightmare. State went for Bernie. We go for Hillary Clinton. It's like, you what? And then everybody got their hopes up again. Not me, by the way. You guys remember I fucking very early on, I don't crow usually about being right about my prognostications because I could have easily, I guess, been wrong. But in this case, fucking as soon as Bernie announced he was running again, I was like, they'll scuttle him again. You guys honestly think the DNC is not going to scuttle Bernie's candidacy again? I say go back and find it. I'm on record on fucking Flash Fried or on an episode of Deep Fat Fried multiple fucking times in the early days of his candidacy. The anger is more than warranted. I've been saying it for fucking ever. I knew it as soon as he fucking capitulated to Hillary Clinton. I knew that it would never happen, that the DNC had him by the fuck, not necessarily him, but they had his hopes for a candidacy by the balls because he is not willing to split the vote. He's not willing to fight it. He's going to capitulate to whoever the Democrat is because of the same reasons that Vosh argues for lesser of two evils, harm reduction shit. And he did it again, man. Just bent the knee, dropped out, refused to fight, refused to go to the goddamn convention and split it. Refused. Twice. Scuttled. Gutted. Twice. Done, man. I'm not participating anymore. I'm not going into the fucking voting booth and voting for another fucking capitalist in my life. There's no argument you're going to make. It's an irrational fucking emotional position. I will not vote for my oppressor any longer. I refuse. I will not do it. I refuse to do it. And it is an emotional argument. And if you don't like that, then fucking discard me or whatever. Put me over and call me a doomer and just go like, all right, he's fucking retarded. Don't listen to what I have to say about it. Don't listen to my anger about it. Don't listen to the fact that we all righteously have the fucking right to be fucking furious and should be. Discount my entire fucking line of argumentation, call me an angry, emotional person, and throw me over here on this fucking doomer side of things, and just, that's fine. Trust me, I'm used to it. I'm also used to being right about things. Not to beat my chest and crow, but I'm getting real used to being right about how leftism is going to fail, about how leftist candidates are not going to get elected. I also called fucking Joe Biden early. Go find it. Everybody was going, no way, Joe Biden, man. It's going to be Kamala Harris. It's going to be this. And I said, nope. Joe Biden's the fucking establishment candidate. They are going to find a way to make it him. It'll be him. And here we are. They're going to scuttle Bernie. Called it. They're going to put Joe Biden up. Fucking called it. But I don't have anything of value to say, though. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to anything that I say about what might happen in the future. I clearly don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I clearly don't have the instincts for it. I'm just not doing it. I won't do it. I won't do it, and I won't encourage other people to do it. I won't discourage them either. Like, I don't discourage you from voting. If you're riding with Biden, we did a poll earlier, and a bunch of you put ones in the chat for that. Go on and vote. I've never, you know, I mean, Chelsea's in here. She was really active in fucking Bernie's campaigning and shit, and I never, like, stood over her shoulder and told her, like, what you're doing is, I didn't even believe it. I don't believe what she was doing was dumb. I don't believe going and voting or involving yourself in the political process, if there's a candidate that you fucking believe in, is dumb. I just don't vote. I will not personally do it. I remember everyone getting furious every week at Paul for even the slightest criticisms of Bernie because he wasn't completely on board with him being the savior of America. And my biggest criticism of Bernie, I was not like a dude that was criticizing Bernie's policy. I always, and you can go back and fact check me on this shit, I was always consistently supportive of a lot of Bernie's more progressive policies. I was critical of Bernie's weakness as a politician. His fucking kind of like penchant for capitulating to people talking over him, and ultimately capitulation to the DNC, his unwillingness to split the vote and cause a contested convention and fight for the fucking nomination. That's what I was critical of about Bernie. That and his age, which I think that's also a rightful fucking criticism. I do not think we need to be fucking electing 70, 80-year-old fucking candidates anymore. I think Trump is well proof of that. Trump is well into fucking dementia, if you ask me. And he's running the country and he's making decisions that affect everybody in the economy and shit. No. So I don't think either of my criticisms of Bernie were founded in anything other than fucking logic. And my major criticism bore out true yet again. But yeah, I got a lot of shit. I get a lot of shit for my political positions all the time. Like, that's just kind of my default. Like, that when I talk politics with you guys and I look at the chat, I'm always surprised if I see positive things there. Because I'm really used to just, it's fucking stupid and this is that and that and this is, but That's just, kind of how people react to me. But say what you want about me, I'm right about a lot of shit. There's logical aspects to my views and there's emotionally driven aspects to my views, and I defend both of them. I think I have every right to be fucking pissed off and disaffected. I have every fucking right. You mean you're apathetic? You think that sitting here for what is it now, an hour and 48 minutes, a good chunk of that being talking politics is being apathetic? You and I have different fucking definitions of apathy. Apathetic would be me booting up a fucking video game and instead of streaming and talking politics for fucking 2 hours straight. Sitting there with slack jawed and saying, I don't give a fuck. Who cares? I do that, by the way, sometimes. But I don't think that I can be credibly called apathetic. I run a show where weekly I cover political topics. That's how I make my money. But I'm apathetic about politics. Oh, you met some other guy in the chat? Sorry. It's hard to tell sometimes. Didn't mean to go off on you. TJ just tweeted, thanks for the update, Dad. Dad, I didn't know you were so into social media and stuff. I didn't even know you knew what a Twitter was, man. Commie Paul, yeah. Commie Paul, dude. I see you as a cynical idealist more than anything. Solidarity, my friends. Yeah. Whoop, whoop. TJ tweet alert. TJ has tweeted. Hold on. I'm going to go live now. This is a big news. I'm going to go live now to TJ's Twitter. Hold on. I'm having trouble getting the feed from my sources. My can you hear me? Do we have the new TJ tweet? We do? All right, I'm being told that I can go live now to the new TJ tweet. Here it is. Anarcho-fascist, Marxist, Antifa, black ethno-nationalists are destroying statues to erase history and undo the American Revolution, thus returning us to British rule. So really, they're anarcho-fascist, Marxist monarchists who are probably Nazis too. Why not? You afraid yet? You heard it here first, folks. TJ has made a tweet. There has been a tweet. We have confirmed it here. We've just heard it read. We're going back to you, Paul Zigo. Wow, thank you, Paul. That was a crazy update. Now, that's what I call edge. Thank you. Outstanding coverage. I try. I believe the world will go on after I'm gone. Now I'm a commie. Yeah, you're a commie. Well, good for you, man. Good for you, bro. Whoop, whoop. TJ has tweeted. This is a tweet alert. A general tweet alert has been issued for your county. Expect maximum edge. This is a TJ tweet alert. This is not a drill. Whoop, whoop. I performed in a number of musicals. I can list them if you would like. I performed in Bye Bye Birdie, I performed in Grease. I performed in Little Shop of Horrors. And I know for a fucking fact I'm forgetting one. That's going to bug me. But there's one other musical that I was in. I was not in Sweeney. I always wanted to be in Sweeney for sure. My Sombra hoodie is hanging on a hook by my front door. It's way too hot to be wearing hoodies. Excuse me. I live in Louisiana, dude. It's like 95 degrees outside every day with 100% humidity. And it rains, but it's like a hot shower. There's no way you want to be in a hoodie. You want to hear my take on simulation theory? Is reality a simulation in your humble opinion? I've given my take on this, and we actually covered it in a relatively recent episode, I think. But quickly and in summation, the way that simulation theory has been sold to me, and I would consider myself a devotee of simulation theory. I do believe that reality is likely a simulation. So here's how it was sold to me. This is the argument that sold me on simulation theory. Okay? There are potentially billions of advanced societies in the known and unknown universe. But let's just say there's 1 million. Of those 1 million, most of them, if they are significantly advanced, will have created simulations. We, indeed, prove that rule. We have created simulations, albeit rudimentary ones right now. Things like Google Earth and VR games and MMORPGs are simulated realities. We have created functional simulated realities. And it stands to reason that of those possible 1 million or possible billion other advanced societies out there, that even more advanced simulations have been made. Simulations, in fact, so advanced that the entirety of the universe, including the inner lives of every person on them, have been made. Which means that among those millions, let's say there's 1 million advanced societies, and let's say that 200,000 of them have made full advanced simulations of the universe, complete with utter down to the very detail. Let's say that 200,000 of them have made that. Well, that means that there is a 1 in 200,000 chance that we are in the actual real reality. Those are not good odds. And the numbers that I gave are pretty conservative in terms of what could be theoretically possible. So wait, would we be wearing a VR headset or are we just fake? I think that the implication is that we're fake. If our reality is a simulation, then we are either fake or plugged into it somewhere, in some other reality. Either way, there's no way to prove it, which is why simulation theory is so easy to adopt, because it doesn't change anything. It doesn't, you still have to play by the rules of the simulation. Fire still burn, fall still kill, money still need. You know what I mean? So it's not like you go like, whoa, it's not like a Neo awakening. It's just a logical argument for the fact that we are probably in a simulated reality. What's the most horrifying nightmare you have ever had? I told the story of that already, honestly. And it would probably be better to go back and find it. So we can go back and do a Paul reviews his own videos shit for the answer to that. Because my recollection of it is going to be way better in the video that we're going to watch. If I can get this shit to work, which it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to. Okay, there we go. My channel, and then I gotta search for. I gotta search for like zombie, something like that. Zombie Judgment, King of the Zombies, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of streams here. It's going to be hard to find this video. It's probably going to be easier for me to go back, just look at videos, and then sort by oldest first, date added oldest, and then just go forward because it was an earlier video. So, yeah, there's some blah, 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 blah. Relief. Ask the ego. There it is. Found it. Boom. Found it, y'all. All right. You guys hang out here for just 1 second. I'm going to go pee because I'm doing the pee-pee dance. I got to pee so bad. So give me 1 second. I'm going to go pee, and then I'll be right back. All right. Let's get settled here. Settle in for a long winter's nap. I got to put my headphones on. That's right. Got to do that. I'll change the scene for you guys. Here we are. Okay, we're ready to go. So this is me describing the worst nightmare, or one of the worst nightmares that I've ever had. And it's also me describing sleep paralysis, which I didn't really know about at the time, and hypnagogic hallucination and all of that. So it'll be interesting to check out. Let's see what happens.
So last night I had a nightmare, and no, this is not some like witty prefabricated segue into a damning refutation of religion. If that's what you're expecting, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I actually had a fucking nightmare. A bad fucking nightmare. Probably the worst nightmare I think I've ever had in my entire life. I've talked about my dreams before, I think, on my channel. I usually don't remember them, and when I do, they're usually really boring and stupid. But every once in a while, I'll have a nightmare. And when I have a nightmare, it's usually about one thing, and that's zombies. I hate dead bodies. I'm scared to death of dead bodies and zombies. I think it's a childhood trauma. My parents let me watch Night of the Living Dead, the original black and white Night of the Living Dead, when I was really young. And so I've always carried this intense fear of dead bodies and zombies. I love watching zombie movies now. I love to be scared, and it's one of the only genres of movie that can scare me, really scare me, so I love that. But if I have a nightmare, it's about zombies, and this nightmare was no different. It's the zombie apocalypse has gone down, and it's me and a group of my friends, and we're wandering around this post-apocalyptic city, right? And for some reason, we all had guns, and that made us pretty safe. The people in a zombie movie that have guns are typically, pretty safe. We're safe from the zombies, and we were pretty safe from the chief enemy in a zombie film. And any zombie film aficionado will tell you it's not the zombies in a zombie movie that end up being the enemy. It's the other people, right? Other people end up fucking the main characters over. It's never the zombies. A little bit of social commentary for you there. But anyway, we've got guns, so we're safe or as reasonably safe as you can be in some post-apocalyptic city with a bunch of flesh-eating corpses wandering around. But slowly but surely, as we travel around, we start getting picked off. And it seems like, and this just happens over and over in the dreams, it seems like, we'll get attacked by a bunch of zombies and we'll shoot them and beat them off. Not literally beat them off. But, you know what I'm saying. And somebody will get bit. Somebody's bit, but they don't tell the group. And this happens all the time in zombie movies. They don't tell. They get bit on the arm and they just cover it up with their sleeve because they don't. They don't want to be ostracized from the group. They don't want to be left behind. They don't want to be shot. They think that they can beat it, so they don't tell anybody. And then they turn into a zombie. And
let me address something at this point before I get farther into the story. So, at the time this video was made, I was working at Starbucks for a living. And the way I'm dressed right now, that shirt that I'm wearing, is the sweater that I would wear. I'm pretty sure I'm still in my Starbucks attire. I used to come home from work and sit down and make a video a lot of times. Like, I would use the dead time in my brain where I was just kind of mechanically working to come up with an idea for a video. And then I would sit down as soon as I got home from work. That also means that I was so fucked up and high on caffeine that I was probably, the equivalent of having smoked a big fucking rock of meth. You know what I mean? Like, just like I was so like, I'm looking at myself and I'm like, this fucking nervous energy is just, it's like the 8 shots of espresso that I took because I probably opened that morning. So this video was probably filmed at noon or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'd already worked 8 hours. So do the math on that shit. You know what I mean? So that can explain a little bit of if I drank the amount of caffeine that I drank back in the day just to get through work and shit, I'd probably still talk like this.
Like in the dream, every time this would happen, it's me that has to do the killing. I'd have to shoot one of my friends in the face, or I'd have to beat one of my friends to death, as they try to eat my fucking brains. I've got to, choke them and beat their brains in. And this happens over and over in the dream until towards the end of the dream, it's just me and my fiance left. We're the only 2 that have survived out of this, group of 10 friends. And night is falling, and we end up taking refuge in this high-rise skyscraper building, right? And we go in there, and of course, it's chock full of fucking zombies. And we decide we're going to get into the elevator and start going up. And we don't just go up to, the top. We go up floor by floor. It's like
I remember this pretty vividly.
For something. I wanted to find more weapons, because at this point, I had nothing. Like, we had run out of bullets. I had nothing. And, of course, every floor that we go to, there's some horrific, gory zombie scene. Zombies all gathered around eating somebody's corpse. And, we'd have to run away and just barely escape. And we just go up floor by floor by floor. And every floor this happens. And finally, we get to the high-rise penthouse, I guess, of this building. And we get up there, and there's nothing there. There's nobody, no zombies, no people. But I remember it was the scariest floor in that building. Like, I was more scared at that point in my dream than any other. Something just didn't feel right, And I told my fiance at that point, we need to get out of here. We need to get out of this building. And she says, okay. So we walk back over to the elevator, and I notice as she's going to push the elevator down button, right? I notice that the elevator has left our floor, which means, of course, that somebody or something on another floor has called the elevator. And I try to stop her at the last second. I say, no, don't, but she pushes the button. And so the elevator starts coming up. And at this point, I know there's going to be something in this elevator. And it gets all the way up to us. It takes forever to get to the top. And it slides open. And this is a very cliche moment, but in my dream it was just horrifying. It slides open, and there's a guy standing there. And you could tell he was fucked up. He's got his back to me. You could tell he was fucked up. His neck is all torn out or something. And he's just kind of standing there. And at that point, I woke up. Now, usually when you have a nightmare and you wake up, the worst of it is over. But that wasn't the case this time, and that's really what I wanted to talk about today, because the scariest part of this nightmare happened to me after I woke up from it. Now, usually when I have a nightmare, And this one was particularly bad for a nightmare of mine. But even so, I think usually...
So once again, just to remind you, at this point, like, I really didn't understand sleep paralysis and hypnagogic hallucination. I had never really heard of the concept, never been introduced to it, so I had no fucking clue what had happened to me. So you're going to hear me describe what was a very rare for me, but has happened to me several times in my life, hypnagogic episode, where you wake up but you're paralyzed and your body is still your brain is still half asleep and half awake, basically. So your dreams kind of invade your reality.
Usually it's just, I tell myself, roll over, go back to sleep, you had a nightmare. There's always this little irrational voice that's still screaming fear into your brain, right? But eventually, over the course of 30 seconds, you take a few deep breaths, you calm yourself down, and everything's fine. And that rational voice wins out 99% of the... I mean, I've never had this happen to me. I'm always able to tell myself, just chill out, take a few deep breaths, it was a bad dream, go back to sleep, finish your fucking sleep, for Christ's sakes. But tonight, that other voice, that irrational voice in my head was so fucking loud and overbearing. I don't know how to explain this, but there was one half of my brain that was telling me to go back to sleep, and another more powerful half of my brain telling me that there was a fucking zombie standing in the doorway of my bedroom. I shit you not. And if I would have made a noise or rolled over or moved at all, this zombie was going to attack me. And I was paralyzed with fear. I was laying in my bed, unable to move. Even though this rational part of my brain was screaming, "You're retarded. There's nobody in this house but you and your fiance and your little fucking dog. There's no zombie standing in the doorway." And yet I was so afraid that there was, that I couldn't move. At that moment, and this went on for, it seemed like forever. It must have been 10 or 15 minutes. I just laid there. And I couldn't move. I couldn't bring myself to speak or say anything or get out of bed. I just laid there, completely still, and the adrenaline was just pumping through me. It was really, really frightening. And I've been thinking about it all day. I haven't felt right all day today, since eventually I was able to get up. Although I will admit to you, and I have no shame in admitting this, I had to wake my fucking fiance up. And I felt horrible about doing that, because she's...
So I can confirm, by the way, what I said earlier, that I'd been to work. When I leaned back there, I can see the black polo shirt. So, and I've talked about how I had to get up and get around. So yeah, I definitely went to work. So yeah, that I was probably like 8 shots of espresso deep, into a fucking total. I think it's part of the reason I used to record videos when I got home from work, because I was trying to calm myself down. Oh, dude, it was regular. Like, okay, so I opened for Starbucks. I'll pause the story here, and I'll tell you a little side story about my life at this time, the time this was going on. So I was the opener at Starbucks, which meant that my day started work-wise. I had to be at work by like 4:15 in the morning, I think, is when I showed up for work. I may be wrong about that. It's been a lot of years. I was probably 26 or 27 in this video. I'm 40 now, so you'll have to forgive me if I don't remember the exact, but it was very early in the morning. It was before the sun came up. And you would show up, and one other person would show up with you, and you would work together to get all the machines primed and ready and get the coffee brewed so that when the store opened, it was ready to go. And I would start the day by priming all the espresso machines. And once that was done, once they were pulling good espresso, I would immediately pull myself like 2 shots. And I'd just pour them into a cup. I'd put a little bit of heavy cream in there and mix it in, and I would just shoot it. And that would be like just to get me started. Then as the day went on, I would do that multiple times. And then eventually around my lunch break, I would make myself a big drink, which at the time, everybody that was there drank Americanos, because an Americano is basically just espresso and hot water. It's like a giant cup of super strong coffee. So I'd make myself like a giant iced Americano with 6 shots or some shit. And I would, flavor it up a little bit, and I would take it out there with me on my break, and I would read the newspaper and smoke cigarettes and drink that whole fucking drink. I would just chug it. So that by the time I went back, I was like, all right, let's do this. Let's get work done. Blah, blah, blah. Let's mop. Let's fucking clean. Let's pull up the fucking mats. We got a lunch rush coming. We got to get ready for that, and blah, blah, blah. And I would probably during that take another couple shots, right towards the end of my shift to make sure I coasted out. And then I'd come home like, all right, I'm going to make a video. So, guys, last night I had a fucking nightmare. And it's fucking crazy how, nightmares happen. And, you know what I mean? I'm just like, whoa. I'm noticing the energy now. But at the time, it was just like a fact of my life. This is how I felt on days that I worked, for a long time. It took me a while to chill out.
She's busy. She's got a fucking job. She goes to school. She doesn't have time to be fucking with me at 1:30 in the morning because I had a bad dream. But it's all I could do. Eventually, I poked her and woke her up, and when she moved and nothing happened, I was able to talk to her about it.
So I sacrificed her to the zombie,
about
basically.
This all fucking day, and it's just been bugging me, and I just haven't felt right. And I knew that there was something more to this, or at least a thought that meant more than just this horrible dream that I had. And I guess it's this realization how strong that irrational part of my brain was for that 10 or 15 minutes. It overpowered me. And of course, eventually I'm thinking about this and I make the connection with religion. This
religion, dude.
Fear
the
that
big boogeyman back in the day.
Religion, or drives a lot of religion. How strong that is. How strong that must be in some people. And what an uphill slope rationality has to climb,
what a tough time, dude.
People's fear of God.
Let me tell you guys something, dude. As a rational atheist, I just want to sit back and appreciate the hill that I had to climb to reach the heights of intellectual superiority. Allow me to adjust my fedora. I'm a gentleman of great learning, and I'm not able to be assuaged by the silly and childlike arguments that put forth by Bronze Age Sky Daddy myth. Man, them were the days. You could get away with being that smug. And nobody called you on it either. People would be like, dude, bravo. Man, them were the days. The good old days, man.
And fear of hell is anywhere near as strong as the fear that I felt laying in bed early this morning. Absolutely certain that there was a slavering fucking corpse standing in my doorway, just waiting for a sign of life so it could jump me and fucking eat my fucking brains. If it's anywhere near as strong as that, then rationality has a huge hill to climb.
Huge hill.
It was so overpowering and so, I don't know. It was a wake-up call. It really, really was. It really just made me realize what a fucking job rational thinkers have. If we ever hope.
Like me, of course.
If we ever hope.
Which I am one,
to the
milady.
Of society at all.
I have climbed Mount Rationality. Allow me to take a sip of Coke from my weird margarita glass that I got on vacation.
That's pretty much it. That's what I wanted to cover. I also, right here at the end, and I'd like to hear from other people on this. Tell me about dreams that you've had. Has this ever happened to you? I don't know what you'd call it. It's not a night terror, right? I think night terrors are when you wake up screaming. I was fully awake, I was just paralyzed with fear. If anybody's ever had this happen, let me know. Talk to me about it.
Talk to Paul's ego, the unbiased intellect, yes. What a hill we've had to climb, rational thinkers. It is worth sitting and stroking our own dicks with this video. I somehow turned a video I had about zombies eating everybody I know into a big back pat for anybody who doesn't believe in God. What a hill we've climbed, rational thinkers. And we have to drag our fellow man up the slopes. We can't just stand at the summit. We're too intellectual. We must go back down the mountain and lift our fellow man up to the summit with us. They too must make the climb. We must facilitate them. What a job we have, rational thinkers. Tip. I'm still an atheist. It's just no longer really necessary to be like this. Like, this type of content doesn't sell anymore. And this type of argumentation is very old. It's a relic of a very bygone era at this point. I still believe everything that or I still disbelieve, I guess, everything that I disbelieved then. I'm no more religious now than I was then, but I just don't know. I'm not in an environment that encourages me patting myself on the back for it anymore. So there's that. There's that, man. I look way better now than I did then. Well, I think a lot of people would disagree, but thank you for the sentiment, I guess. I really don't care. I looked how I looked. For me, like, I know a lot of people struggle with their looks, and I'm not going to lie that I didn't. If you guys saw some of the pictures of me as a teenager particularly, let's just say I had a tough blooming period, okay? I looked like a weird mushroom-haired. I had a weird bowl cut, and it was bleached, and I was fat as fuck, and I was chubby and hairless, and I just looked like a big worm or something, So I went through this period where I was real, kind of insecure about how I looked, but it faded really quickly. I looked that way freshman and sophomore year, and then my sophomore summer, something happened to me. I had that growth spurt that happens to boys, I leaned out a little bit and I got taller. I reached my full height, you know what I mean? And I started to get, I started to masculinize a little bit. I got some a little bit of that. And since then, I've been a fat fuck since then. I've never been thin since then. But I've also never really struggled with the way I look. When it comes to that, I'm usually pretty critical of myself. And I'll say some things and I'll make fat jokes, but I'm pretty comfortable with my body, in general. I don't like it. I don't really like looking at it, so I'm definitely critical of myself, but it's not something I obsess over, and I don't really let it bleed into my fucking confidence, I guess. I've gotten, I guess, better at that. Just being accepting of the way I look and what I have and what I look like naked and all of that shit. I had sleep paralysis once. First time it happened, it started with hearing my friend's voice saying it's menacing, which woke me up. Then it felt like an entity pressed down on me, squeezing my breath out. Yeah, it's very common. They used to call it the old hag. People would say that some old woman came and sat on them and said horrible things to them and crushed the air out of them and shit. So yeah, TJ's got some crazy stories. He's had a lot more hypnagogic hallucinations. Now that I understand that it also happened to me when I was a little kid. I had a number of recurring dreams that were actually hypnagogic hallucinations, and they're fucking terrifying, dude. Terrifying shit. Thanks, Egbert, for the money. What's he building in there? We've got the right to know. It concerns all of us. We've got to break down the door and see what he's building in there. It only happened to me twice, which is weird. Yeah, it's only happened to me 2 or 3 times in my life too. It doesn't happen all that often to some people who experience it. Some people experience it almost every goddamn night. Some people, it's way more regular, like once a week or once a month. Some people, not at all. Some people never experience it. It's not really fully understood. There's a documentary, kind of a weird documentary with reenactments and shit, and it's really worth checking out. It used to be on Netflix. I don't know if it is anymore. I think it's called Nightmares. And it's about a bunch of people that have really, really repetitive hypnagogic hallucinations and have since they were children. And they describe them, and then they do these weird reenactments of what the people describe happening to them. And some of them are genuinely like fucking terrifying. It's like, whoa. I can't imagine something like this happen to me every night or 2 nights a week or something. It's like fucking terrifying shit. And all of them say that, like, even though you know what you've got, it doesn't really help. Like, in the moment, your body is not in the mode to be, just like I was describing, it's not in the mode to be rational. It's in the mode to believe the panic. And so you just believe it over and over again every night. You believe that some creepy thing is laying next to you in bed and breathing in your ear, or some weird entity is showing up and doing experiments on you, or it's crazy, dude. Crazy shit. Anyway, I think I'm going to go ahead and end the show now. I think that's enough. We've done a couple hours and change. Yikes. Thank you guys for showing up. It was cool. It's been fun. It's been real. But has it been real fun? I don't think so. But maybe you do. Have a good evening. I'll see you guys next time.